is the real deal, and he could be our guy. So I want to introduce Assemblymember and Gubernatorial candidate for the state of California, Travis Allen.
How's everybody doing? Should I sit up here and get a tan or down here? See me either way? Let's see how this up. I just want to ask a quick question. We got about, what's about 100 people here. Raise your hand if you voted and supported the Republican nominee for president, Donald J. Trump. You know, let me tell you something that's really shocking. There was this race for governor in 2018, and don't for a moment listen to anybody that tells you the Republicans don't have a chance to win this race, because you better believe that we have an absolute chance to win this race. Of the 6 people that are in the race, there are 4 Democrats: Gavin Newsom, Peter Ragosa, Chuck Easton. Combined between them, $30 million. There are 2 Republicans: Travis Allen, John Cox. There is only one person in the entire race that publicly supported and voted for the Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump, and he stands for you. His name is Travis Allen. I've been in politics for 5 years. You know, I'm a Southern California surfer. I live in Huntington Beach, California. I manage money for a living. I own an investment advisory firm. I still own it. I don't believe in a full-time legislature. I believe in a part-time legislature, because your legislators and your elected officials, you have to understand the kind of world they're forcing you to live in, all these high taxes and crazy regulations. But you know, even though I've been behind the curtains for the last 5 years, I know exactly how the sausage is made up in Sacramento. I still don't understand how anybody can run as a Republican if you don't support Donald Trump for president. In 2014, there was a race for governor, right? If you remember, the Republicans lost that race. They lost because Jerry Brown was grandpa. Jerry Brown was the Ronald Reagan of the Democrats. He was the quote-unquote fiscal moderate in the room, right? Everybody remembers this, right? 3-term governor going in for his 4th term. Never lost an election before in his life. This guy was the dream candidate for Democrats. He was a centrist Democrat. By the way, this is how fiscally moderate Jerry Brown is. When he got in office in 2010, he took the budget from $86 billion in the general fund up to $125 billion. That's an increase of $39 billion, almost 50%. That's how fiscally moderate Jerry Brown actually is, right? Not at all. He's as liberal, as progressive as the rest of them. But think about this for a moment. This was their very best candidate, the guy who had never lost. Literally, the Ronald Reagan of the Democrats. He got 4.3 million votes. Yeah, right? And who did the Republicans put up against him? Does anybody remember?
Kashkari O'Donnell.
Okay, we got a couple people in the room. I've been to rooms where no one even remembers this guy's name. His name was Neil Kashkari. He was famous for 2 things. He was an investment banker that did TARP, not exactly the most popular thing in the world. Oh yeah, and then he slept homeless for a week in Fresno to highlight the plight of the poor. Now you remember this guy? Right? He was intelligent, I guess he was articulate, but this guy didn't sell anybody anywhere. This was the worst candidate Republicans possibly could have fielded. Absolutely the worst. But guess what? Neil Kashkari still got 2.9 million votes. So what's the difference? Brown gets 4.3 million votes, Kashkari gets 2.9. That's a difference of 1.4 million votes. I'm a numbers guy. Remember, I'm an investment guy. This is what that actually means. If half of that number, just 700,000 people, had voted for Kashkari and not for Brown, 700,000, Kashkari would have won the presidency. That's only 2% of the state's population, and 10 million Californians didn't even show up to vote. With our very worst candidate, we only lost that race by 700,000. This is a thread by which the dominance of the Democrats hangs. It is the thinnest thread you have ever seen, and we are going to chop it down. In 2018, Republicans are going to once again be governors in the state of California. Are you with me? Think with me for a second. Think with me. Those numbers I just told you are the real numbers. Brown got 4.3. Kashkari got 2.9. That's 1.4 million difference. You cut that in half, 700,000. If 700,000 people changed their mind and voted for Kashkari, he would have won, right? This was the worst candidate that we could have fielded. 10 million Californians didn't even show up to vote. They were registered, they didn't even show up to vote. You know, why didn't they show up to vote? Well, he was a terrible candidate, but there's one really big reason. Who did Neil Kashkari vote for in the latest presidential election when he ran? Barack Hussein Obama. How can you get up and vote for somebody who can't even vote for your candidate? You can't. This is why Republicans lost. I have one question for you. There's two Republicans raised for governor. Travis Allen and this other guy. His name is John Cox. He's lived here in California for 6 years. He's from Chicago. He voted for Gary Johnson. How can this guy even call himself a Republican? Do we have Trump supporters in the room today? Yeah! Did we just take back our country when no one said that we could?
Yes!
You better believe we did. Who here thought that Trump was going to win before he did? Raise your hand. I will tell you, the day that Ted Cruz dropped out of the race, by the way, in all fairness, I liked Rubio. I thought Rubio had a great shot against Hillary. Right then, we got to find out the truth about Rubio. Then I liked Cruz because he was a strong constitutionalist. I thought, well, you know, this guy was pretty good too. But then when Cruz dropped out, it was very clear there was only one person who could actually advance our ideas and beat crooked Hillary. If you called yourself a Republican, if you believed in common sense, you only had one choice. If you didn't vote for Donald Trump, you were voting for Hillary Clinton. If you didn't vote at all, you were voting for Hillary Clinton. Is that clear? Does everybody get it? That's exactly what the truth was. So the day after Ted Cruz dropped out, I wrote an op-ed. You can look it up online. It's from the Orange County Register. It said it's time for Republicans to unify behind Trump. And the answer was very simple. If you call yourself a Republican, if you say you're a conservative, if you believe in your Second Amendment rights, if you believe you need to be a U.S. citizen to vote in our elections, if you believe we have to observe federal immigration law, if you don't think we should have the highest taxes in the nation, the state of California, you only had one choice, and that was one person for president, and what was his name? Trump! What was his name? Trump! So guys, this is so simple. This is the race, but let me tell you about me. Let me take you a step back. But let me give you one other little fun fact. Raise your hand if you've ever talked to a Democrat in your entire life. Raise your hand if these Democrats might be your neighbors, they might be your co-workers, God forbid they might be even in your family, right? Come on, we know we had this conversation, right? Yeah. How many times have you been stuck in one of these conversations and they're telling you about resist, Trump's a racist, misogynist, all these terrible things. Everybody on the Republican side, you're complete idiots, you hate immigrants, you hate everything, and you're just bad. But you know what, being worse than bad is that you have no hope as a Republican. You might as well pack it in and go home because you will never win in California. There's just too many Democrats here. You are done. Raise your hand. You ever had that conversation? Yeah. We all have. I want to see your hands. Go ahead. We all had this conversation. All right, next time you have it. You're going to be at Thanksgiving table. You're going to be at the Christmas table. Who knows? You might be at the water cooler at work, you know, in a day or two from now. And they're going to say, you know what, you might as well give up. Gavin Newsom's got $16 million. He comes from the San Francisco political machine that's giving you Jerry Brown, Willie Brown, Nancy Pelosi, Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein, Kamala Harris. The list goes on and on and on. This guy is the anointed one. He's going to be the next guy. There's no way you can beat him. He is tall. He's articulate. He's good looking. You might as well pack it in and give it up right now because Republicans will never win in California. You heard this? Raise your hand. You ever had that conversation? I'll raise his hands. If you have this conversation, the next time you have it, and it's going to be soon, you look them in the eye. You know what you tell them? You say, look, in 2014, Jerry Brown got how many votes for governor? And they say, well, I don't know. He got the majority. He got 60% of the vote, didn't he? And so well, he got 4.3 million votes. And they're going to say, oh, that's interesting. Then you're going to ask him, how many votes did Donald Trump get in 2016? And they're going to look at you. They're not going to have any idea. And you're going to tell them, in 2016, Donald Trump got 4.4 million votes. All we got to do to take the governor's seat is turn out the Trump voters. Yeah! We take California. Think about this, guys. Look them in the eye and say, you know what? All we got to do is turn out Trump voters, and we already got you beat. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Southern California. I grew up 5 minutes from the border, in a little town called Modesto, all that good stuff. I didn't care about politics at all. I was an investment advisor. I managed money for a living. I help people save taxes, save their money, hopefully send their kids to a good school, and get to retire here in this state. We all know how that story works out because we did pretty well in the market, right? In the last 20 years, it's been okay up and down, but not too bad. But guess what? I started out registered for investments in California. I'm now registered in over 20 states because my clients left, their companies left, their jobs left, their families left. Raise your hand if you know anybody that's left the state of California. Yeah, this isn't just about everybody. Raise your hand if you ever thought about leaving the state yourself. See? This is the pride. We have to live in the state. It's the greatest state in the nation. I don't care if you're a surfer. I don't care if you're a skier. I don't care if you're a farmer. This state has it all for everybody. We have the best people, the best geography, the best ports, the best borders. We have the best of everything. We even have more oil and gas in California than Saudi Arabia. Think about this. We got Silicon Valley, we have the world's best agriculture. Everything we have is all right here. The state is we're fighting for. So I grew up 5 minutes from the border. For the last 20 years, I lived in Huntington Beach, California. And the reason I lived there is I was living over in Hawaii at the time, doing what you expect, going to college, surfing a little bit. My buddy called me up and he said, Travis, you got to come back to California. I said, well, look, I think it's about time because they got a name for me over in Hawaii. It's called Howley. Do you know what Howley means? It means white boy that doesn't belong in Hawaii, right? He's an outsider. So I said, I'm ready to come back. So come back to Huntington Beach. It's like heaven on earth. And true enough, it is like heaven on earth. So I've lived there for the last 20 years. I managed money, had a great time doing it. But while I was doing this, I noticed that all my clients had left. They're all in other states. Then I noticed my parents had left. They were going to build their house on the coast, but they couldn't afford Carmel. So now they live on the southern Oregon coast. My brother worked for Raytheon. They took his job from El Segundo. It's now in Tucson, Arizona. So that's where he lives with his family. And oh yeah, my best friend that ran a little AV business, audio-visual business, he's the guy that put in the speakers in your house where you wired up your computers or whatever. He left for Texas. He doubled the size of his business. He doubled the size of his house. And he doesn't pay a dime in state income tax. Right? Raise your hand. Who knows somebody that's left the state of California? Raise your hand if you want to stay in California, you want to grow old here, you want to watch your family live here, and you want to make sure that California is a state for California citizens first. Right? Look, this is what I thought. In 2012, I looked around. I helped out a bunch of presidential candidates. I helped out this guy that couldn't remember the name of all the agencies that he wanted to get rid of. Right? Rick Perry, the former governor of Texas. Look, I didn't hold it against Rick. Look, I want to get rid of the Department of Education, too. I believe we need local control of our education.
Amen.
Amen to that. But, Common Core is kind of a nightmare. I just got married, by the way, last September. First time in my life. Gorgeous girl, inside and out. And I'm a pretty good negotiator. I picked up an 8-year-old daughter in the deal. And she's incredible. She's going to public school, full immersion Spanish, but I want to make sure that it's the best possible school. The problem is we got the California Teachers Union spending $200 million every election cycle, making sure that we can't fire bad teachers. The parents can't send their kids to the very best schools. And that's why we used to have the best education system in the nation, and now we are consistently among the worst. These Democrats have ruined California. 4 decades of corruption. 4 decades of Democrat control of the legislature, both houses, the Assembly and the Senate. Republicans only took one of the houses for 1.5 years in the mid-1990s. So if you don't like the high tax in California, if you don't like the high regulation in California, if you think these crazy laws are just too much in California, you lay those white feet into Jerry Brown and the California Democrats who have run the state for the last 4 decades. Jerry Brown's been 4 terms in office. You combine that with his dad's 2 terms, the Brown family has run California into the ground for almost half of the last 50 years, and it is time for them to go.
Yes!
So like I was saying, I supported Rick Perry, and he was a great guy. Think about this for a second. Texas has the hottest economy in the United States. This is where we're losing all our jobs to. My best friend's lived over there, and he tells me it's great. The problem is I'm a Southern California surfer, and Texas doesn't have waves unless there's a hurricane. So I gotta stay right here. But if I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna do something about it. After that, I supported this guy, Mitt Romney. The Mitt was good. I guess he was a little soft on some of the issues, but I thought he was a heck of a lot better than this Barack Hussein Obama guy. So I did 25 stops around the country with Mitt. But you know what I realized is that even if he did win the presidency, it might not translate to California. And that wasn't going to help me out very much, nor was going to help out all of my friends or my family that still remains here, of which there's diminishing few. So I realized that actually if I wanted to change things, I would have to do this myself. It wasn't enough to write people a check, although in the back of the room I got Ryan. Where's Ryan? There he is. Hey, everybody say hi to Ryan, my staffer. Ryan's got something very important for you. Should pass out right now. That's your cue, Ryan.
Right there.
Because remember, you can't win a race without a buck or two. And he's got my envelopes for contributions to the language and birth. So the point is this. I helped out Mitt Romney 25 races or 25 stops around the country. But you know, Mitt Romney, he didn't have that fire. In the second debate against Obama, he was up almost 5% in the national polls. The problem is he never brought up foreign policy, and he never brought up Benghazi. Why did he go against Obama and actually call him out on his record, right? Yeah. Right? This was a race that we should have won. He didn't have that fire. And I realized, wait a second, we can't rely upon somebody else to save our state. We can't rely upon somebody else to save our country. If you truly want to do this, you got to do it yourself. The fun part of the story was actually 2 African Americans go to Sacramento as Republicans and make deals with all these special interests, all these lobbyists, and raise your taxes, and come back and say, well, you know, I never promised you I wasn't gonna. I said, you know, that's not good enough for me. I signed that paper without even thinking about it. I beat this guy by 16,000 votes, 11%. He has never run for higher office again. He's a minor footnote in history, and that's what the underdog can do. So let's hear it to win it. I was in office for 6 months. I was sitting in Sacramento with one of my buddies and his chief of staff. It was 11:30 at night. We were eating tacos at his kitchen table, and they were talking about how terrible it is in California to be a Republican. Can't get anything done. And I said, you know what? You guys like to complain, but there is a race down in Central Valley, California. There is a Democrat senator. His name was Michael Rubio. He was at a 22% Democrat favorite seat. This guy was a socialist. He had never seen a tax or a fee that he didn't like and didn't want to raise for you. But you know what? Overnight, he turned into a capitalist because he got a phone call from Big Oil. And they offered me a multiple $100,000 a year job as a lobbyist. He sold out his voters. He sold out his conscience. Became a capitalist. And for that, I said, God bless you. You have seen the light. And you know what that did? Is that created a special election. And I'm sitting there eating tacos with my friends at 11:30 at night. You can picture the scene. Eating Jim Boy's tacos. And they're complaining. I mean, how many times we heard Republicans complain that you don't got a chance, you don't got a hope, forget about it, don't come out to the picnic today. Why are you even trying, right? I don't believe in this stuff. I talked to my friends that night and I said, you know what? There is a race in the Central Valley of California. It's a 22% Democrat seat. But our polling says that we have a candidate down there. And this guy's something different. This guy actually has a chance to win. He's something you haven't seen before. He is a third-generation cherry farmer by the name of Andy Vidak. Anybody heard of Andy Vidak? Yeah. Right? And I said, he's got a chance to win, so let's do this. And they said, well, what do you mean, Travis? I said, let's go help him win. And they looked at me, much like you're looking at me right now. They said, tell you what, let's do this. I'll go knock on 5 doors, you go knock on 5 doors, and you go knock on 5 doors. And you never know, maybe that's the 15 votes this guy needs to win. And he looked at me and said, you're crazy. It's a 22% Democrat advantage. You can't win that race. So you know what I did? I got a little louder. I talked a little longer. I might have banged on that table a few times. By 1:30 in the morning, I had completely broken them down. And they said, you know what, look, Travis, as long as you stop talking, we'll do whatever you say. We'll follow you wherever you want to go. You lead, we'll follow. Within 1 week, we had secured an $800,000 independent expenditure from the California Realtors. My friend's chief of staff that was there that night took the professional walk organization, those guys that knock on doors and say, vote for Andy Vidak. I took the volunteer operation. I brought 500 volunteers to Bakersfield, Fresno, Delano, Lemoore, California. 96-degree heat, 93% humidity. I was wearing a full suit the whole time. And you know what we did? We got Andy Vidak elected, a Republican senator in the Democrat district. They never said we could never take that seat. And that is what we do. We win. If I had sat there that night and I'd listened to my friends, these hardcore Republicans, right? If I had listened to everybody else, I would have packed in, I would have gone home and never would have done this. And there'd be another Democrat elected up in Sacramento. And that's not what we need. 6 months after, I'm reading the newspaper. I'm sitting in my house reading the newspaper. And I'm from San Diego. I told you that originally. There was a mayor down there. His name was Bob Filner. And he had a more colorful name, and that was Filthy Filner. You see, because he had sexually harassed over 20 different women.
Yeah.
So you know we did a Democrat, by the way. So you know we threw him out of office. And our polling, once again, showed that we had a slight chance to win a race down there. You see, there was a Republican councilman. His name was Kevin Faulkner. And he had just the slightest chance to win. So what did I do? I picked up my phone. I called 600 volunteers. I said, you walk with me in Bakersfield, Delano, Lemoore, California, downtown Fresno. Why don't you come down with me to La Jolla and Pacific Beach? And let's go knock on some doors. And we did. We got the only Republican mayor in the top 10 cities in the United States elected down in San Diego. His name's Kevin Faulkner, and we did it right here in California, and you should clap for that.
Yeah.
I took that volunteer army of mine to 14 races up and down the state. We won almost every single one of them. I decided volunteers weren't enough. I picked up a paid workforce. I started paying people to knock on doors. I had almost 800 people up and down the state of California in 2014. We did 12 races up and down the state. Of those 12 races, we won 11 of them. And we broke the supermajority in the Senate. We broke the supermajority in the Assembly. And you should absolutely clap for that. See, because I don't believe that it's ever too late. I don't believe that California is done and you should just pack it in and go home and give up. For the last 5 years, I have voted on every single thing you care about 100% of the time. 100% of the time, I have supported your Second Amendment right. 100% of the time, I have supported lowering taxes and fighting every crazy tax increase. I have fought every crazy law. I voted against this transgender bathroom bill where little boys and little girls get to go to the same bathroom in elementary school. Because that's just strange, right? I voted against these 2 recent laws. How about this? They just passed a law, the Democrats did, that people can knowingly transmit AIDS to another person. And it's no longer a felony. Now it's just a slap on the wrist and a misdemeanor. Can you imagine? They just passed a law for legalized heroin injection centers in your community in California. Is this crazy? Haven't we had enough in California? Right? I fought constantly 100% on every issue you care about. Our jobs 100%. NRA 100%. Small Business Association 100%. But you know what? I sat on the assembly floor just a couple months ago, and Jerry Brown ran through the largest gas tax increase in California's history. Right? He broke his campaign promise to do it. His campaign promise was no new taxes without voter approval. You remember that back in 2010?
Yeah.
He lied to you. Because Jerry Brown is lying to the California people for 4 terms now. Have we had enough of Jerry Brown and the California Democrats? So I sat there and I made speeches. You know, I have a social media profile. Anybody got Facebook in the room? Is everybody following me on Facebook at Join Travis Allen? Yeah. All right, if you're not, you better jump on real soon. We got 345,000 followers, more than any other Republican in the state of California, reaching 1 million to 3 million people per week. I am on the news, the radio, the TV, the newspaper every single day except for Saturdays and Sundays. Every single week, 25 times on average. Is Kevin Fox here? No, he isn't. I was on Kevin's show just on Saturday, bringing this message up and down the state. I have made speeches against the gas tax and all these crazy laws. My videos have been seen by millions of Californians. But I've actually voted no so many times in the legislature that 6 months ago, I hit that red button so hard that it actually flew off of my desk. I didn't know what, right? But it didn't help, because Jerry Brown steamrolled all of us with this gas tax. He bribed 4 legislators $1 billion to ram through the largest gas tax increase in California history. In the next 30 days or so, November 1st, your gas goes up by 12 cents per gallon regular, 20 cents per gallon diesel. That means every time you fill up your tank, it's an extra $2.50. And guess what? Not 1 penny of that will go towards building any new roads anywhere in California. Raise your hand if you're ever stuck in traffic in California. right? You are now going to pay more money, and none of this money, not a dime, is going to go to any new roads anywhere in California. This is the lie of Jerry Brown and the California Democrats. So I sat there on the legislative floor and thought, this is terrible. I'm a fighter. I believe in winning. But he just steamrolled us. He steamrolled all of you, every 39 million Californians. He lied to you, and he rammed through his gas tax by bribing 4 legislators $1 billion. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to take this. I picked up my phone, I called my attorney, and I said, write 5 words. The following code sections are repeal. And we struck out 37 pages of law. I took $2,000, I walked down to the Attorney General, and we are going to repeal the gas tax. Any of us could have done it. It only takes one California citizen to change the entire state. 65 days later, the Attorney General comes back to me with a title and summary. Do you think it was honest? Do you think it said that this is the repeal of the gas tax, just 4 words, right?
Nope.
No way. The Attorney General is the hand-picked, appointed Attorney General of Jerry Brown. This guy never ran for office. He was shooting up. He was actually pulled out of Congress. He was a Democrat leader in Congress. His name is Javier Becerra. He is a crony of Jerry Brown. So do you think that Javier Becerra brought back an honest title and summary for the repeal of the gas tax?
Nope.
So, no, absolutely not. You see, this is a $54 billion payday to Jerry Brown and all of his special interest cronies in Sacramento. He brought back a title and summary that didn't even mention the word tax or fee in the title. So what did I do? Did I sit there and take my ball and go home and say, oh, they got us again? No, I picked up my phone, I called my attorney, and I said, we are going to sue the Attorney General in Superior Court of California, and we just did, and we just beat it!
I saw that in the Modesto.
California is a winnable state. I don't care where we got to fight, whether it's a ballot box, the courtroom, in the news, we are going to win because there's more of us than there are of them. Don't believe the news. Don't believe these registration numbers. LA Times came out 2 years ago. They took a look at every single elected office in the state of California, from dog catcher up to governor, right? School board, city council, supervisor. There's actually more Republicans elected in California than there are Democrats. Say that again. There are more Republicans elected in California than there are Democrats. How is this possible? It's possible because once you get past the legislative level, you know, the governor and all the legislative policies, everything is not partisan. And so what are you voting on? You're voting on real values for real people. And guess what? Those are Republicans. Do we have any Republicans in the room? Do we have any Republican elected, Republican candidates in the room? Right? Give them a hand. So the story is very simple. The story is there's actually more of us than there are of them. We are the silent super majority in California. We just haven't had a candidate that people can get behind. How do you get behind Neil Kashkari? He voted for Barack Obama. How do you get behind Meg Whitman, who spent $180 million and could never even talk to people, right? Even, you take a look at Schwarzenegger. He gave us the initiatives. He lost one time in the ballot box. And what did he do? He tucked tail, and you never heard from him again. Because after he got beat, there was a Democrat waiting for him at home, and that's what he turned into, right? This is the state that gave us Ronald Reagan, who became the President of the United States. California Democrat Party has gone so far left, they're now left of Bernie Sanders. Gavin Newsom is the likely contender for governor on the Democrat side. This guy believes in sanctuary state. This guy believes in single-payer health care. He's never seen a tax and fee increase that he doesn't love. He is the former mayor of San Francisco. Are we tired of San Francisco running California? We can win. We will win. Jerry Brown was seen as a moderate centrist. Gavin Newsom is to the left of Bernie Sanders. There's more of us than there are of them in California. They just don't get out of the polls. 10 million Californians didn't vote in 2014 because their candidate wasn't compelling enough. How many people do you guys know that voted for Donald Trump? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many people do you know that voted for Donald Trump but would never tell you in a conversation unless they know that you voted for him as well, right? Because this is what the left tries to do to you. What we need is a candidate that believes in common sense. We need a real person, not somebody that makes millions and millions of dollars per year, but somebody that understands that 1 in 5 Californians live below the poverty line. Over 1 million Californians live in energy poverty, which means they spend more than 10% of their income on energy costs alone. These are the real Californians that we have to speak to. Forget about this concept that Republicans are the small minority party. A year ago, that's what they said about Republicans nationwide. They said Republicans are done, forget about it, they can pack it up and go home. You know what the title I just saw about a week and a half ago? The Democrat Party is now done in the United States, right? So we can do this. We just need a candidate that people can actually believe in. We need a fighter, somebody that actually believes in these things, that's voted on these things, that's written and tried to pass laws that we all believe in. In the last 2 years, I wrote a law to defund every single sanctuary jurisdiction in the state of California because California needs to follow federal immigration law. If you want to vote in the state of California, you need to have a California ID, and if you don't, we'll provide one for you as long as you're a California citizen. Do you agree? The Democrat Secretary of State would tell you that there's no voter fraud in California. So I wrote a law last year saying we're going to take all of our voter rolls, send those to an anonymized source that about 18 other states use, and they're going to clean out all the dead voters, all the deceased voters, and send us back all the files. Do you think the Democrats voted for that law? No way. They've been cooking elections for decades now. Judicial Watch came out about a month ago. They found there's 11 counties in California where there are more registered voters than there are adult citizens of voting age in 11 counties in California. There is fraud in California. Do you agree?
Yes.
We don't win this race by a little. We win this race by a landslide. Because if it's 1% or 2%, the Democrats will try to steal it from us. And how do we win? People say, look, Travis, okay, you got a good story. We've seen you've been fighting for us the whole time. You've put the laws that they're everything that we believe in. You fought for races, over 20 races up and down the state of California. You're in the social media, you're in the urban media, you're everywhere. But you know what? What kind of issues do you really run on? What do you really stand for? It's very simple, 5 things. Number 1, California must cut our taxes. We have the highest taxes in the nation. Anybody here tired of paying the highest taxes in the nation? Jerry Brown is collecting more of your money than he ever has in history. This whole concept that he's your gas tax money, he has been siphoning off $1.1 billion of transportation revenue since 2011 and sending it to the general fund. Caltrans, the agency that's supposed to build your roads, has a payroll of $11 billion a year and over 3,000 employees making $500 million a year that are totally extra. They're duplicative. We should be firing them, and the analyst's office agreed since 2014. We have more than enough money for everything. We need to cut our tax in California and put more money where it belongs, back in your pocket. Do you agree?
Yes.
Something about crime lately. Canada, you're talking about the 3 strikes law, right? California was the original tough-on-crime state. Because of 3 strikes, crime has dropped every decade for the last couple of decades. But all of a sudden, it's reversed. And why did it reverse? Because Jerry Brown allowed AB 109 to pass. He supported Prop 57 and Prop 47. That is early release of criminals, and that's felons turning into misdemeanors. This has the most obvious effect you would imagine. Last year, there were double-digit increases in violent crime in 34 of our major cities. Since 2014, violent crime has increased in California by 15.4%. We have to repeal AB 109, we have to repeal 57 and 47, and California has to get tough on crime so our communities are safe once again. Do you agree? Cut taxes. Get tough on crime. tax to do it. Fix our education system. We used to have the best education system in the nation, but we're now among the worst. Failing schools, where bad teachers will not be fired, where kids are being failed. You have drugs, crime, gangs, and you can't do a thing about it because the teachers union spends $200 million a year. And oh yeah, where are we right now? We're in the Central Valley. California must finally complete the State Water Project. Think about this for a second. California has more water than we could ever possibly use. We just need to store it when it rains. Do you think we should make more water in the Central Valley? Why not? Because projects like Temperance Flats, like Sykes Dam, like Raising Shasta Dam, all of these things have been tied to the court by extreme environmentalists for decades now. Who here turned off the tap from 2014 to 2017, right? Maybe you didn't water your lawn, maybe you didn't wash your car, right? God forbid, I hope you didn't call the cops on your neighbor and fine them like Jerry Brown wanted you to. Remember this? Every drop of water you save, every drop of water we all save, 2014 to 2017. Every stand of almond trees, every field that was allowed to die because Jerry Brown wouldn't release the water, every drop of that was wasted when we got our recent rains that burst Oroville Dam because he never fixed our dam. 180,000 Californians were evacuated. All of that water that you saved rained out under the Golden Gate Bridge. Not one time over 10 times over. Because Jerry Brown and the California Democrats have lied to us. And they have told us for too long that we don't have the water. California has all the water we could ever possibly need. All we have to do is start building again. Let's store water in California. And let's build the Central Valley clean. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very simple race. This is a race that we are going to win. We're not just going to win in June. We're going to win in November. You are going to wake up. What's your local paper? Is the Fresno Bee?
Modesto.
Modesto Bee. Modesto Bee. They say the same thing down there too. Trust me. You're going to see that paper on your doorstep in June of 2018. You're going to look down and you're going to see that big title. And in big block letters, it's going to say Travis Allen challenges Gavin Newsom to be the next governor of the state of California. The next line is going to say polling shows that there have been single digits or low double digits of each other. They're close. This is a close race. And you know what? This will become the hottest race in the United States. Yeah. If national Republicans all of a sudden think that we actually have a chance to win the governor's seat in California, this changes everything. We take the White House not just for Trump, but for a generation for Republicans through California. Are you with me? You want your next governor to support the President of the United States and the President of all California. California to follow federal immigration law. You want to lower your taxes and get water back in the Central Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be your next governor of California. My name is Travis Allen. If you like me, if you love me, if you love your state, take out your pen, take out your wallet. Give me money. Help me win. I will be your next governor. My name is Travis Allen.